Hello friends, I'm Tim Wildsmith, and in this video we're going to be taking a closer look at the ESV Chronological Bible from Crossway. You know, one of my favorite things about making these Bible reviews is getting to interact with all of you who watch them. I get messages from people every day on Instagram and Facebook, emails from people who say, hey, thanks for all you do. I have a question about this, or can you help me decide about that? And I love helping people find a Bible that's right for them. And recently I've gotten a bunch of messages from people who say, hey, Tim, have you gotten a chance to check out the ESV Chronological Bible yet? I'm interested in it, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. So I reached out to my friends at Crossway. I ordered a copy of it, and I'm pleased to report that it's a very cool Bible. And in this video, I want to show you what it's all about. So a chronological Bible, just to set it up for you, a chronological Bible is a Bible that instead of ordering the Bible Genesis through Revelation, it chops things up in a different way to make them go chronologically from earliest to latest. So different sections of the Bible are going to be ordered differently, so it kind of gives you that running timeline. What they've done at Crossway is broken it up into 8 different eras. You can see this little color combination thing on the front of the Bible. There's a chart just inside of it. So they've broken it up into 8 different eras and chronologically put the Bible together. So it's cool, like when you get to the Gospels, and I'll show you this in a second, you get pieces of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John as they're unfolding chronologically instead of reading them separately. I really like the design of this Bible. I like the flow of it. And I also love that they've done it in 365 different sections that are not numbered by date, but by number. So it's day 1, day 2, day 3, not January 1st, January 2nd. So you can pick up this Bible at any time. And if you start reading one section a day, in a year, you will have read through the entire Bible chronologically. Again, flows well, really well designed. There's a few things in the back of the Bible that I really like. There are just some additional helps, things like that. So I'm going to do an overhead video now, show you everything that this Bible has to offer. I think it's really great. I'm excited to show it to you. This is a really lovely edition. This is the hardcover. There's also a True Tone, which is Crossway's synthetic leather edition. I love the branding on here. You see those different 8 colors at the bottom, which represents the 8 different eras that they go through in the chronological Bible. If you take the slipcase off, it's kind of a brown textured hardcover. It looks really, really nice. So overall size is it's just under 2 inches thick, about 1.75 inches thick, and then the actual text block itself is just under 6 inches by about 9 inches. So it looks really great. It's like a kind of meaty Bible. I wouldn't call it mid-size. It's a little bit bigger than that, but it's nice. The color accents there on the cover as well. Then here you get the different eras, so you can see it on the inside leaf here as well as the opening page. So you get the different eras that they're talking about are primeval history, patriarchal history, from deliverance to inheritance, the last judge and the united monarchy, the divided monarchy, exile and restoration. So intertestamental period is going to be the books that would be in that period, or the apocryphal books, which are not in this Bible. So the intertestamental period is not in this Bible. And then you get the kingdom comes and the early church. It explains all of the different books and things that are in each one of those sections, but it's going to go chronologically through the books of the Bible that way. There you see the sewn binding, presentation page, title pages. Here's the information right here, copyright 2023, Crossway. All of the information on that page. Then you get a table of contents, so it tells you those same historical sections as they go through the different resources. I'll show you those in a minute. An introduction to specifically to the ESV Chronological Bible from the general editor, Andrew Steinman, kind of giving you an idea of how this works and some tips on how to use it. The preface to the English Standard Version you can see is in a single column typesetting. Looks really nice. And then you get into the Old Testament. So here's a section introduction. So our first section, our first era, is going to be primeval history before 2166 BC. So you're going to get an introduction to the section. It's just like a page and a half. And then you get reading. So this says, at the very top, reading 1. So it is numbered. The readings are numbered 365, but they are not dated. I know a lot of people don't like when a Bible like this is dated, because if they get off a day, they feel like they've fallen out of step with the Bible. So there you can start it. You can start this in July with reading 1 and just move straight through it. You don't even have to do it at a day, but you know it'll take 365 readings. So there's a little introduction to each day. and then it's going to tell us what we're going to be reading. So this is Genesis 1 verses 3-24. Out here it looks a little bit like the ESV Legacy Bible, where the sections are out here in the margin, but you do get a little bit of a wide margin space. It's right at an inch wide on each page. So you go straight through that. Textual footnotes at the bottom of the page. There are no cross references, but I love this single column design. I love the space here, and there's also space in the gutter, so it kind of keeps the text out of the gutter. So that's 2 or 3 pages of reading, maybe 4 pages total of reading in day 1. Just giving you a look at this. This is a 9-point typeface. This is that lexicon typeface that Crossway uses in a lot of their Bibles. I think this is great. It really looks nice. It's very nice paper. The paper seems to be opaque. It's pretty thin. But then you see here, you get down here, reading number 2. Each day has a title, Adam's descendants, creation. It kind of gives you a little bit of a timeline, a little bit of an introduction, and then you get another line before you get to the text. Pretty straightforward, but then you're going to see, okay, so I'm going to open up here. I'm now in the from deliverance to inheritance section, which is down here at the bottom. Page numbers are down here. But then you see I've got a section from Joshua. Let's see, what day is this? Let's go back a couple days. So reading number 78. So this is day 78 of reading this Bible, Land for Other Tribes. I'm going to get portions of Joshua 19, portions of 1 Chronicles 4, back to Joshua 19, 1 Chronicles 7, back to Joshua 19, back to 1 Chronicles 7. So it's going to bounce around a little bit because it's going in the historical, chronological timeline. Where this really gets interesting is when you get into the books of prophets, where it kind of jumps around even more because some of the prophets are overlapping with one another. Where you get even what I think is the coolest function of this Bible is reading through the New Testament. So if we get back here to the Gospels, Jesus' life and ministry. So here's the feeding of the 5,000. We get that story in Matthew. This is day 301. We get that story in Mark. We get that story in Luke. We get that story in John. So you're going to get some of these stories that overlap in the Gospels. You're going to be able to read them all in the same day because you're reading chronologically through the Bible. Again, I really like the design. The look and the feel really draws me in. It's kind of a classic single column look. And then that format of reading through things with little introductions for each day, it really does work really nicely. It's a nice way a different way to read the Bible. And the fact that it has the dated entries, or not the dated, but the numbered entries, really allows you to kind of, if you want to sit down and read this Bible straight through in a year, you can do that. You can also read 2 or 3 entries at a time. If you just want to dig in and keep going, you can totally do that. So a few cool resources here at the back of the Bible. So at the end of Revelation 22, we have a resources section. So you get a kind of classic table of weights and measures in here. And then it's going to give you a daily reading index. So if you are looking for what day you're at, you can find the day number, you can find what you're going to be reading, and then you can find the page of where it's going to be located in the Bible straight through. That's a really great way to kind of do it day by day. And if you're looking for a specific portion of Scripture, then there's also a Scripture index. So because the Bible is laid out chronologically, it's not going to be as easy to find a specific verse. But if you come back here and you say, okay, I know that I want to find Job 34. Well, I can then come here, Job 34, it's on page 468. If in those sections of the Gospels, I know that I want to find a specific passage. Let's say I want to find the parable of the prodigal son. I know that is Luke chapter 15. So if I go here, Luke 13:1 through 15:32, it's going to start on page 1495. I can then go find the parable of the prodigal son. So you can use it to find things like that. And then I love this. There's a really cool fold-out, I don't know if I can get this fully in the camera. There's a fold-out timeline here. It's 4 pages, a fold-out timeline. I can get most of it in there. That kind of gives you all of these different eras and the key events that are happening. This is that kind of thing I can totally geek out over. I could lose myself in this timeline and kind of find things and look around. It gives you the list of the judges, the patriarchs, the oppressors of Israel, the kings of Israel, the kings of Judah. Because, in 1st and 2nd Kings, we get 20 kings in the south and 20 kings in the north and 20 kings in the south. And you kind of hit that back and forth going through. So it gives you a list and some timelines, that sort of stuff. Then you get into the New Testament and it gets in all that. I mean, this is really a really cool chart to have in there. And then, yes, you do get some glossy Bible maps in the back of the Bible, kind of standard Crossway maps that look like all the other Crossway maps I got one in here. This is just a funny printing error, right? So the page got folded. So this is how big the actual page would have been. Most of the pages wouldn't have gotten folded like that. But really, really beautiful. A little about the ESV on the inside, back. This is great. I know a lot of you have been excited about this, and I think that it turned out really nice. So there you have it. That's the ESV Chronological Bible from Crossway. That's pretty cool, right? I would love to know what you think. So leave me a comment and let me know. If you have questions, you can drop those in the comments as well. Now there's a couple different options of this. This is the hardcover edition. There's also a True Tone edition. That's Crossway's synthetic leather. So I'll put some links in the video description to where you can find these online, see what the current prices are, and purchase one if you're interested. Please come find me on Instagram and Facebook. I have a great time on social media, and I would love for you to follow along. And before you go, hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I love making these videos. Thank you so much to all of you who reached out and asked me to record this one. I hope that this video was helpful for you. I'll see you next time.